Hi, I'm Carol, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the position that we want to sit in when we're doing chair yoga. So first of all, I want you to find a nice, comfortable chair in your home. So it may look like I have some friends coming, but I'm just giving you some examples of some of the chairs that you might want to use. So if you look at the chair I'm on, this is actually a folding chair. So this is one I bought, I think, at Target or Home Depot or something like that. You can always use that. You can use a desk chair like this. The only thing here, though, is this one's a little bit slippery, and it also has a little rounded back. So you want to make sure it's comfortable. We're going to be talking about some of the things that we want to be having important when we sit. So we'll come back to that in a little bit later. And then the chair over here is like probably a dining room chair or something. Any of these can be used, but just think about some of the principles we're going to talk about first, and that'll help you decide what kind of chair to sit on. So we want to find a chair that we can sit up nice and tall in. So we want our sit bones on the base of the chair, and then our shoulders up above the sit bones, and then our head above the shoulders. So we're like a little marionette, just being pulled up by a string, okay? Because a lot of times, what do? We slump all down in the chair. And that's not a good thing for yoga. We want to have the spine nice and long. So you've got to find a chair that'll let you do that. If you have a big, comfy, poofy chair, you're probably going to fall back in it, and then that's not going to work too well, because we want you to really think about getting nice and tall and growing. I always tell people they grow about 2 inches when they do yoga. So first of all, when we're sitting, let's think about where our feet are. Our feet should be about hip distance apart. And we want them to think about being on like railroad tracks, right? Like one on each track. So the feet straight forward, relatively parallel. You might have a little issue with one foot or another, that's okay. But I don't want to see any of that big pigeon-toed, right? People with their feet in or their feet out, because that's going to change your whole hips and the way you're sitting. So think about the feet being about hip distance apart. And then think about the foot being flat on the floor. When we think about the foot, I like to say it's like a car. We have 2 tires in the front and 2 tires in the back. So in case you're one of those crazy drivers, this might be different for you, but most people have that car flat on the ground, all 4 tires. So just think about that with yoga also. We want to have all 4 tires on the floor. So as we're moving, we want to come back to this position. It might be a little tough because you might start to forget about this sitting position, but this is something that you can do throughout the day, not just in your yoga class. When you're eating breakfast, think about coming to this nice, tall sitting position. When you're waiting at the doctor's office, again, you're sitting in the chair, up nice and tall. We don't have to be like this every minute of the day, but think about coming back to this position, and over time it's going to bring us into this position more often then. So like I said a little bit earlier, this chair is probably better because it's a little more square, a little more angle, whereas this chair is a little rounded and may make you kind of slide off the chair. So feet on the ground, about hip distance apart, feet right under the knees, hip bones, or I should say sit bones are on the chair, shoulders up above the sit bones, nice and wide across our collarbones, and then head above the shoulders, and a nice big smile on your face. So that's the way we want to start when we sit for yoga.